Today I'm going to make vegan bibimbap pizza. I'm following this recipe from this book I found on Amazon. I have made a few pizzas from this book already and they're all really good. In part 1, I am making a double batch of whole wheat pizza dough. This is really simple. Start with 2 cups of whole wheat flour, and I'm going to sift it really quickly. Then add 1 cup of all-purpose flour and sift that as well. Add 1 teaspoon of salt. Then add 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I actually have coconut palm sugar here. It actually works quite well. Stir all your dry ingredients together with a fork really quickly. I have 1 1/4 cup of hot water here. I'm just going to wait for it to cool down to between 110 degrees and 120 degrees. Once the water is about cool, add the instant yeast. This packet is exactly 7 grams, which is what this recipe calls for. Then add the olive oil, about 2 tablespoons, and add your warm water. You don't really need to knead this dough, but I'm just trying to get the excess flour into the dough. Cover it up and set it aside to rise for 2 to 3 hours or up to 6 hours. And a couple of hours later, you can see the dough has risen. I'm going to cut it in half and store 1/2 of this in a freezer bag and set it in the freezer for our next pizza. Use a pizza stone if you have one. However, I found that using the back side of a baking pan works pretty well. I'm just going to use some oil to grease this pan. You can use a brush, but I'm using my hands here. Lightly flour a clean surface. You should enlist help here as it can take quite some work to flatten out this dough. We're going to stretch this dough to the size of the pan, and that way it will make a really thin crust if you like thin crust pizza. Try to make an edge around the pizza. To make bibimbap pizza, I'm going to start by making the sauce. Be warned, this is really spicy. This recipe calls for 1/2 cup of Korean red hot pepper paste. You can tone it down by using less of the paste if you are afraid of spice. Add 1/4 cup of agave. Add 2 teaspoons of toasted sesame seeds. Two teaspoons of sesame oil. Some chopped garlic. and 2 tablespoons of hot water. Once it has some good consistency, you can start using it as pizza sauce. Again, this recipe is really spicy. You can use less of the red pepper paste or just use less of the sauce here. Layer on some fresh spinach and some fresh sliced mushrooms. You can use vegan mozzarella cheese here too, but I decided to skip it since there are so many good flavors going on already on this pizza. I'm going to put this in the oven at 500 degrees for 15 minutes. While the pizza is in the oven, prepare the other toppings. I really like cilantro, so I'm adding that to the recipe as well. Chop your green onions lengthwise. Cut the thicker parts in half to make them thinner. Now I'm going to quickly stir fry these in some sesame oil. Also add in some bean sprouts. After 15 minutes, this is what the pizza looks like. After it cooled down a little bit, I'm just going to add the stir-fry toppings. Add some cilantro if you like. Some extra sesame seeds. And here it is. Again, you can add some vegan cheese if you like, but I thought there were so many flavors going on that I would leave that out of this recipe. Also, if you like seaweed, crush some toasted seaweed as well. The good thing about using the pan upside down is that it is easier to cut with a pizza cutter. And here it is, yummy vegan thin crust bibimbap pizza. If you would like to watch more easy homemade vegan food videos, please subscribe.